So if I'd said 10 years ago that for half the price for Silver Pigeon you can walk into a shop and buy a gun that is side plated with grade 4 wood and it wasn't complete junk, well, you would have said I was mad. Well, today we're going to have a look at this little mad thing, the 88 Elegant Sporter. So for £799 you get a 14.5 inch stocked in grade 4 gun. I think it's quite nice. You know, we've seen various things, they kind of range between grade 3 and grade 5, so it's a case of pick the gun you like the look of. Hand finished walnut pad that has some lines of checking on the back, but we'll get into that in a second actually. You have the same ATA swollen grip at the bottom, which is not something I like in particular, however, you get over it. It would be nice to see a Parswell or just Prince Wales or something like that, but it's 799 quid. Laser checkered, rather coarse checkering, so it's still quite practical. Before we get any further, let's talk about the stock. It's 1.5 and 2.5, and unlike most other ATA stocks, actually comes with a 1/4 inch of cast, which is quite exciting. However, where the back is so smooth, it feels much shorter because it tends to overshoot, and I'm not talking about me, but this sort of a consensus we have in the shop that actually it feels like a 14.25 gun or a 14-inch gun. And that could all have been changed just by having slightly coarser back, a bit more grip. So overshoots for a 14.5-inch gun. By that I mean you drag it shoulder and you feel like there's no connection there, because there's not. So if you are going to have a smooth butt plate, it's generally better to have it on a slightly longer gun. Drop wise I said 1.5 and 1.5 and 2.5, so it is quite low. It's a fairly classic game gun spec, but if you like a higher gun or to have a lot of face compression, it's not it. The fact this is a sport and this is much more of a game spec stock, we're not going to get into because it doesn't really matter because it's $799. You have standard ATA internals, which are actually proving to be really reliable. These guys have been out a couple of years now and the returns late rates are really low. Manual safety catch, which is nice enough. A single gold trigger, black floor trigger plate, and side plate in action. You know, it's quite crude, the engraving. It's not like an artist form, but it's not ugly either, you know. I've seen significantly worse. It's just lacking in detail. I can write home about it and wouldn't say that it's horrible, but neither is it nice, which is good. I mean, at least it's not horrible, right? And it's 800 quid, and you could look at this from 20 yards and probably think it was a WLL. So that's pretty good. The barrels are flat black, being the Sporter. They are 3-inch, steel proofed. It comes in a standard ATA cardboard box, which is unexciting, but it does have the Schnabel forend as opposed to rounded one. Whether that makes any difference to you, it is just aesthetic. It is still quite clunky looking, the forend, and I do think the other forend looks a little bit better, but it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing. Mechanically, we've looked inside them. We know they're sound enough, and like I said, they are bearing up well. They are bearing up well. So here you go, again, £7.10, most of which hangs off the front, which is not great, but it can be rebalanced within the stock. And putting a slightly more dense pad with a little bit more length, a little bit more tack on there would be good. However, once you've got the pad off to work on it, if you just want to do that, chuck some weight over the back and you'll be laughing. Like I said, it shoots very flat. So if you're not looking for a gun that shoots very flat, this gun is not for you. But if you want a gun that looks the part and can hold its own, well, it's 800 quid, isn't it? I mean, they've even done a nice job of filling some of the holes, which they've actually inlet wood into some of the pore holes that are open, which is, you know, a lot of other companies just put filler in. It's nice. It is really nice for what it is. But it is what it is at the end of the day. And, you know, it's a cheap side plate. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care. It's been brilliant. And we'll see you next time.